something like that. And there's a big ass willow tree, and what Mooney explained was like, you know what I like about this tree? Why it's my favorite tree is because it's tipped over and it's still growing. And that was like a deep little message about the movie, because eventually down the line of the movie, you know what happens, and I feel like this was just a knockdown in Mooney's life, and she's probably gonna just start growing all over again. You know what I mean?
It's like the tree was a metaphor to the situation.
Mooney's life.
Huh.
That was one of my favorite scenes.
What about you, Wesley?
There's so much in this. I think one of my favorite underrated scenes would be when. So you guys know, Scooty's mom and Mooney's mom are best friends, and they live on top, like above each other. Like one's on the bottom, the first floor, one's on the second floor, and it's made pretty obvious throughout the first act of the film that they're pretty close. And then when Mooney and Scooty and Jancy, they set the neighboring abandoned apartments on fire, and Scooty ends up telling his mom that they did it. She gets mad and basically says like, "Yo, you can't fucking hang out with Mooney anymore, and I'm not gonna give them food, nothing or whatever." And then so once what's Mooney's Haley, yeah, Mooney's mom, her life starts slowly unraveling. She loses her job. She was a stripper, and then she's like starts moonlighting perfume. That's not working out. Then she moves into like kind of escort services, but she's doing it out of her motel room. She gets caught up with that, and then so she's like struggling to make rent, and she tries to go. Haley tries to go make amends with Scooty's mom. And Scooty's mom kind of laughs at her, and she's like, "Yo, like I'm pretty sure you don't need help making rent because you got that covered. Like everybody in this whole complex knows what you're doing, what you're about." And then she like flips out on Haley and says, "If I ever find out that you were like whoring off while my son was in the room, I'll fucking kill you." And then Haley like snaps on her and just beats the shit out of her, and like the packing sounds and that whole setup of that scene is executed so well. And it seems, and Haley, she doesn't feel proud about what she does when she's finished. She goes and throws up, and you can see that she looks like physically sick. And I feel like the way that they presented that, like violence kind of isn't the answer, and like how organic that scene is, was so exceptional, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, they made that scene very like relatable. Like people will snap, dude, if you say the wrong thing, and obviously it was just something that's real, so it's gonna hurt. It hurt fucking Haley's feelings.
Yeah, and
her reaction was genuine, because I have sisters that are local like that. If they hear the wrong thing, they'll fucking snap just like that, dude. Like it's just people. I guess fucking Ashley said the wrong thing at the wrong time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously she was going to hear it either way, but that was a very, like you said, genuine reaction. Like she just, and like she threw up. I felt that. I felt like she felt so much guilt that it was building up. She was probably throwing up on her way up to the fucking her room.
Yeah.
Like.
And she did it, and she did it. Like that, she looked back and she sees that she did it in front of Scooty or whatever, which is also crazy. And you could just see, like, you could just feel that moment, And
I feel like for Haley, it was a big changer, because she's like, damn, I probably lost my only friend, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Her only homegirl, as she said, her bitch. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
That I wanted to say before we move to something else, that scene was beautifully filmed, especially coming from Scooty's like from his perspective.
Yeah.
It was it's crazy, dude. Like that was like one of those like kind of jaw dropping like moments and shit.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I just didn't expect like a full on beatdown, like, you know what I mean, in the movie.
But she just wails on her for a while, you know, like, was it like 6 shots or something?
Dude, like 6 on them, 6 shots.
They look clean. She definitely had the clear edge on fucking Ashley, because you just don't expect someone just to fucking walk up in your house like that and beat the shit out of you, you know what I mean? So it's like...
Yeah, and I mean, she might be kind of tall, but Haley's not like the most like... like
most intimidating.
Yeah, intimidating. Thank you.
Yeah, because I would say because she has a normal job. She probably is more relaxed, not on edge, you know what I mean? She makes her own money. She's proud, you know what I mean? She doesn't have like, nothing can really hurt someone that feels proud and has a job. Like, even if it's just working at a chicken waffle shop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she just probably felt like maybe better than Haley, and just didn't expect Haley to come at her like that after saying the wrong thing, you know what I mean? And she totally fucking got wrecked. So
yeah, for sure. Also, I feel like Haley's situation, like she's in her situation, it's like a vicious cycle. Like she probably grew up the same way that Mooney does, because you can tell that Mooney's picked up a lot of her personality traits from her mother, and I feel like that's due to like her, you know, it stems back to Haley's childhood, and so you can just see like this kind of generational thing, history, like just continuing to repeat itself, because then, you know, Mooney's gonna grow up and you can already see she's very like stuck in her own ways, and very like will talk shit to you like it's no big deal, like telling adults like, don't tell me what to do, like fuck you, you know what I mean, like already. And she's 6, dude, she's 6 years old. She's like, I
feel like you can get the feeling that Haley probably also grew up without her parents, just like Mooney did, so you can get that feeling as well, like a
broken home, no real like sense of morality, like kind of just like fending for yourself, like where you're just thrown to the wolves and you just have to kind of make ends meet, like however you know how, like surviving. And that's, you totally feel that with Haley's character, you know.
Yeah, dude, I have homies that live like motel lives, dude, and that it's not good for the soul, dude. Like, I don't know, it isn't, because it's just day by day, you pay week by week, you just see your money lose faster than you gain it, you know what I mean? And I don't know, like, I just feel like that situation's tough, and people in that situation always want to find something brighter, but it's hard to get out of those dark alleys, you know what I mean, of like being a motel renter, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think I think we're kind of, it's funny because I know all 3 of us, and including James, and have never lived like that in a motel room and stuff, or motel premises and stuff, and it's kind of like an eye-opening thing, you know. Even though you've heard about it, you've never actually seen it on a day-to-day basis and stuff, and so it's kind of an eye-opener to see, you know, what goes on during the daytime or the nighttime and stuff like that, you know. And I think those guys, in general, those individuals have a more sense of community than we do, you know, because at least me and I really don't talk to my neighbors. Like, I don't go hang out or go knock on their door and hang out with them, you know, like Haley and Ashley do, you know, and like all these other.
I feel like when I was a kid, I could relate in that fashion. I feel like I used to do that, dude. At least in an apartment complex, it's maybe a little different, but yeah. I made a lot of friends, and I would just go walk the doors. Even as a teenager, I was able to totally walk into my friend's house without knocking and shit, you know. Totally disrespectful, but you know, that's what I was able to get away with that, dude. Just go anywhere, like, I'm gonna go hang out at my friend's house, mom, and go over there, not even knock on the door, and you know, be chilling. So it's just, I feel like I've definitely done the stuff that these little kids have done, and they're doing it at such a young age. Like, to be aggressively, they're like superly aggressive friends. They just meet up and you know, like, they're not bad friends, but they're just meet up aggressively, like, where they, like, you know how that one, like, the first incident was how they met Chauncey.
Yeah,
like
spitting on her mom's car, dude.
You know, that I feel like I've been in situations where, like, I probably maybe messed up someone's part of their, like, house or something, and that's how I became friends with them more or something. You know what I mean? You know, so I can relate in that aspect. Like, that was a good touch for such early on in the movie, I think.
Yeah, crazy amount of details that really matter that you don't really think about till later on, where you're just like, oh shit, like, this actually makes, like, this story way better, and it's just like just a few minutes of footage, you know.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a favorite character?
I definitely like Scooty. I thought Scooty was cool. He was just like the little road dog, you know what I mean? The only boy in the group. He was definitely chill, relaxed, because I think he grew up in a more noble setting, even though his mom let him go wherever he pleased, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was able to do that when I was young. I was able to go to hang out, like, in a ditch, around, like, this random tree, and like in an abandoned like spot, like sewer ways with like plants and shit. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, I was able to do some of the shit these kids were doing, hang out in random spots that your parents can't find you. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was a good aspect as well, because I felt like, yeah, I was doing that shit definitely at this age, finding the spots no one could think about and chill at. You know what I mean?
Nice. I would have to say Mooney. I know it's an obvious choice, but I think her, the character itself is just, I know what some parents would say, like, oh, don't hang out with that kid is trouble. But in a sense, like, she doesn't know any better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have, like, a limitation like other people had, you know? Like, somebody with discipline and structure in their life. So
don't just enable these kids on them.
Yeah. So she was like the enabler. She would enable these kids to kind of have their kind of get in trouble with what they're doing, and everything that transpires is because of her. But she, like, again, Haley doesn't have her life together.
Mm-hmm.
But in a sense, like, Haley also, like, provided Mooney with like, you know, don't stop having fun. Like, don't worry about anything. Like, we are struggling, but in the simple, I think the message that I got is, like, in the simple life, you can still smile, you know, even though you're struggling, you can still smile. Because there were instances when it was Josie's birthday, mm-hmm. and they were like, went to hitchhike all the way to Disney, the Disney World Resort,
mm-hmm.
and they saw the fireworks and stuff, and like, oh, this is for you, like, happy birthday. And that was like, oh man, like, I mean, for a kid it would have been like, man, like, I remember that time, mm-hmm. my friend and her mom, we hitchhiked and we went to Disney World and we saw the fireworks for my birthday. Or, like, you know, it's little stuff that I think that character brings out in people that just made me be so attached to, because I feel like sometimes when I was younger I was that character, but I wasn't as much of a troublemaker as her, but that reminds me a lot about me, a lot about my little cousin, my nieces and nephews, and it's just it just teaches you a lesson, like, you know, you can